The new game. Renko? God damn it, Renko. Erica? No one wants to talk about, but it's all that's in anyone's mind these days. Mysterious things are happening all around Shibuya. Sightings, attacks, disappearances, fear. How's a kid supposed to be a kid in a time like this? But honestly, Ryota never really was like most kids. He's not usually glued to his phone all day. Is he really a kid at that point? I mean, hell, even most adults are stuck to their goddamn phones. I'm not much better, because guess what's right here? My phone. Ryota's concerns bring him to a mysterious case file posted online. It's titled The Kirigo Aka Vanishing. He reads it to himself the best he can. Having tracked another report of dark fog to the area, I arrived to find it had passed, leaving dreary rain hanging over the neighborhood. At the scene, all we found were the clothes of a mother and a son, left behind like two molted cicada shells. It's hard to even imagine a parent and her child just gone, precious lives snuffed out forever. My heart sank knowing that I had failed to protect them. It was the worst feeling I'd ever felt. As if on cue, the rain started pouring down. Heavier and heavier it fell with each passing moment, but I couldn't be bothered to take out my umbrella. That's when the obvious culprits returned to the scene of the crime. A group of monsters, they had umbrellas of their own. As if rain followed them wherever they go. I was furious. I brought hell down onto them at that very moment. They tried to protect themselves with the umbrellas, but I just kept pounding on them until they were battered and broken. I was so exhausted I could have fallen over at any moment, but my utter wrath kept me going. As I picked up to leave, I still refused to open up my own umbrella. I just walked away, rain pouring and soaking me to the bone. Unable to shake the idea that monsters are all around him, Ryota navigates on his phone to a document called The Marinuichi Vanishing. The language is complicated, but he works to understand it. It says, I got a tip on a missing woman from Marinuichi. When you've been a detective as long as I have, you tend to build up a big network of contacts. The story my contact told me was that they saw the woman on one day when the frog rolled in. It blanketed the area and then poof, she was gone. Times like these make me wish a certain somebody was around. Come to think of it, the fog in these disappearances set the scene for when I first met the rest of my crew. Everybody kept talking about folks just up and disappearing, and I thought it was a load of horseshit. It wasn't until I met them until my encounter that I believed. Ever since then, I've been haunted by what I would have once called hallucinations. Turns out being able to see spirits and monsters isn't a fantasy movie nonsense after all. Guess I should be thankful because otherwise I would have seen through that monster taking the form of the woman. She made a bunch of red orbs appear that chased me around, but I knew so long as I didn't let myself get surrounded, I'd be okay. She was a nightmare to look at, so I put her out of her misery. When I searched the scene, I spotted a woman's handbag. Found the missing lady's ID cards in there. Then I came across some clothes that looked like they would have been hers. They were in a little pile, but the way they had fallen made it clear her body had just vanished. No mistaking whose handiwork it was either. I'd finally managed to get my hands on a solid enough lead to work with. Could monsters really live among us? These case files say that yes, they absolutely can, and do according to this one. A lady called me about a missing person who vanished from the bathroom of her apartment. Usually I'd brush it off as another runaway, but after seeing the crows circling above her apartment, I had a feeling there'd be more to this. The black stains on the front door verified my hunch. It turns out that I'm not the only one that can see these black stains. The lady who lived there and showed me and made no signs of noticing it. She showed me the bathtub and gave me a play-by-play of what happened. Her boyfriend was taking a bath longer than usual, and so she went to the bathroom to check in on him. When she opened the door, her boyfriend was gone, and for a short instant, there was a reflection of an old shrine on the surface of the bathwater. I rubbed my finger on the rim of the bathtub, and there was a transparent, sticky slime like substance on it. A reflection of a shrine shown on the water's surface. I'll need to talk further with my team about this incident to see if these things ring any bells. I purged the black stain on the front door and then left the scene. Poor lady, what will she do now? What can any of us do? In these posts, the kid had found something, or rather someone, called KK. Has been looking into monsters in this part of town, a believer, just like Ryota. Social media would never lie, and that means this KK is an expert, maybe the expert in all things paranormal. There's only one thing left to do. Having pored over every story, post, and grainy photo about local monsters he could find, Ryota prepares to take action. Whoever this K person is, they have an unfortunate name. I'm going to ask this K guy to help out. Just gotta figure out where he lives first. Dear Mr. Investigator Person, Dear Mr. Investigator Person, hello, how are you? I am not good and I need your help. Monsters got my friend Sosuke. Rinko sits up in her chair. She's zeroed in on one of a dozen monitors from across a makeshift command center, stuffed into this cramped Tokyo apartment. It happened near the manhole. Please help me get him back. Data flies across the screen, seemingly too much charts and graphs, maps, and mathematical equations, even social media feeds and open case files. Somehow, through all those screens, all that clutter, Ryota's message catches Rinko's eye. Sounds desperate. Could just be some bored kid trolling us. Calm and confident, Rinko insists on balancing passion with skepticism in her analytical approach. On the other hand, that manhole is within the vicinity of several recent incidents. Maybe he is involved. She knows what she thinks, but she also knows no one can protect Tokyo all by themselves. Trusting your teammates is the only way to keep everyone safe. What do you make of it, Ed? Ed squints and takes a single deep breath as he turns to the screen. He has something to say, but holds it back. Technology is easy. People are hard. Instead of speaking up, he places a small recorder on his desk. He presses play, and as the audio begins to roll, Ed turns and walks away. I've heard intriguing stories about so-called manhole girls in Japan, vengeful ghosts of bullied students, said to trick other children into following them into the sewer, from where they never return. If any information turns up about such anomalies, I'd be keen to investigate. Though I speak purely out of personal interest, it might not be enough to make the rest of my team pursue it without further evidence. Okay, safe to say, since you somehow found the time to record something this specific about a single urban legend that you want to look into. Ed is already engrossed in other work. He doesn't respond. He certainly doesn't notice when Rinko rolls her eyes. He rarely does. Probably best we have no idea how you spend your free time, huh, Ed? Erica's been sitting next to Rinko this entire time, listening and waiting for the right time to chime in. That time is... Want me to check it out? I don't think so, Erica. Could be dangerous. What if something happens to you? Seriously, you still don't trust me to go out by myself for 5 minutes in the middle of the day? At just 16 years old, Rinko might be right not to trust Erica on something dangerous. Yeah, at 16 years old, you don't know what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. But Rinko knows that Erica has shown a maturity beyond her years. She gives Erica an almost sisterly look of skepticism. You know it's not that. Rinko quickly turns back to her monitors and away from Erica. But for all her maturity, Erica can't quite keep from pouting. Stop making that face. Besides, we've got our very own private detective in the vicinity already. I'll have him take a look. The stall is brimming as a wide array of customers eat in relative silence. The only sound they make is the slurping of their noodles. The silence breaks when a phone begins to vibrate upon the countertop. The owner ignores it, choosing to focus on his meal instead. The phone doesn't care about his hunger and continues to vibrate. The phone wins. The peace and solitude have shattered. This is no way to enjoy noodles. God damn it. That the silent diner finally glances at the screen. He begins to mutter to himself. Another case. These people have me working harder than my enemies ever did. Can't even get 5 minutes to enjoy a nice, quiet lunch. The detective reaches over and presses the ignore button and turns his phone's ringer off entirely. In the beautiful silence, he takes another big slurp of noodles. I might not always be around. Time to see how they do without me. I think he's ignoring my messages. I know he'll never win world's most reliable partner, but this isn't really like him. It's not his style to turn down a job like this, no matter how minor it might seem. He pulls this stuff all the time. Probably fine. If he is involved, it's hard to say what's possible. It could be serious, and I think it's serious, Rinko. A rumor so simple to verify, it's far more likely our friend has already looked into it and dismissed it. After all, the manhole girl legend isn't entirely new. Our energy may be better off elsewhere. You're right, we've got more important things to focus on right now. This time, another social media post pops up and grabs Rinko's attention. Reports of a yokai in the form of a double-tailed cat milling about a local convenience store. Ryota stares at his phone, waiting for a reply, but he doesn't receive one. With no one to help, he doesn't know what to do. The only thing he can do is wait. Where are you, Mr. K? My friend is in trouble. Ryota pulls out his notebook and waits the door to pass the time. Draws a child in a raincoat dancing under an umbrella. Unless Ryota stops drawing and slowly looks up. Someone is approaching from the alley behind his house. Oh, well, shit. That was unexpected. So we'll go for. Yeah, we'll answer it this time. Let me guess, I'll be risking life and limb? That why you let it ring for so long? Too scared to pick up? The exact day I stopped being scared of anything. The day you stopped being a loner and hooked up with us so we could have your back? Sure, that works. Besides, I'm not fool enough to pretend this team isn't half okay. If you need backup, you know I'll be there. No questions asked. I actually already volunteered, but right now there's something dangerous to be worried about. It's a simple check-in on our report of some suspicious activity that might be connected to these phenomena we've been looking into. It's always the simple cases that go south the fastest. You know what? You're right. Maybe Erica should run point in this one. Sure, she's just a kid, but you're busy, so. Well, hold up. Let's not sacrifice the rookie to make me look bad. I'm already out. Send me the info and I'll get on it. First, though, I need to talk to one of you about something. Eager to get out there, huh, Erica? Chase some thrills? No, not thrill seeking. It's my duty. I have to help, but I don't have a choice. Listen, kid, you always have a choice, but I get it. It's that thing inside that tells us we can make a difference. It's a burden, but it also keeps us going. You just gotta know when to use it and when to hold it tight. Otherwise, it'll carry you away. I'll never let that happen to me. I won't be like him. What he did, it's unforgivable. I know you won't, Rinko, and I would never allow it. You just have to follow our lead. That's your job, huh? Make sure I don't stray too far from the pack. One of my jobs, and I'm damn good at it. Rio doesn't notice the people passing him on the street. They don't notice him either. He is young, but he's very much alone. His focus is centered on the small bit of paper in his hands. After a couple folds, the paper finds a familiar configuration. The head, arms, and body takes shape. A palm-sized person stands in his hand. As Ryota inspects his creation, someone who's been observing him from afar steps out of the shadows. What have you got there? Ryota looks up. He's nervous, but clutches the paper doll in his hand to stay brave. He's not running or hiding despite the gruff stranger staring at him. No need to be afraid. I'm not here to do anything bad to you or your little friend. Gotta admit, I've been known to carry the odd paper doll with me on investigations. Strange habit, I know. But you get the benefits of a partner without the annoying small talk. Ryota's shoulders ease. He lets his guard down as he listens to the detective and re-examines the folded paper. The detective surprises himself with his playful tone. He's rusty, but somehow still feels comfortable talking to the scared kid. Sometimes paper dolls are used for magical purposes. You're a sorcerer by chance? Now's the time to tell me. So you really are him, huh? Gonna have to be more specific, kid. You're Kay, the ghost hunter from the files. You must be. I just thought you'd be taller. They say you've solved strange mysteries, right? Okay, maybe. The detective looks closely at Ryota's phone. He sees the social media posts featuring photos of various case files he has worked on collected in one place. Look, I only use those initials because writing out my name is a pain, and I got too much pain already. God, what kind of name do you have that you just go by your initials because it's too painful to write? Or what's going on with your name and your picturing of it? Not your problem, right? Anyway, that's me. But I'm not a ghost hunter, I'm a detective. Kay's demeanor hardens a bit, dropping the playfulness. You want an investigator kid? Well, you got one. I'm so glad you're going to look into the disappearances at the manholes. Here's the thing I already did, made some calls on the way here. There's no record of any recent disappearances. Still, got a few friends on the force, so I can dig up dirt quick. Kay shoots Ryota a serious look. Not trying to pull a fast one on me, are you, kid? It's true, honest. My buddy Sosuke disappeared. He hasn't come home since yesterday. Last place I saw him was right back here. Ryo motions the alleyway behind him. He went down that way. I tried to follow, but I couldn't find him. He was completely gone. If Ryo is bluffing, he's an incredible liar. Sadness comes over him when he looks back toward the alley. Kay looks back and forth from the kid, then to the alleyway behind him. All alleys are dark, but this one looks like it's never seen daylight. See any fog when that happened? The moment he disappeared? Now that you mention it, had been something spooky around, like a kind of fog or darkness, but came and then went. All right. Kay mutters himself as he eyeballs the alleyway behind Ryota. Nothing looks immediately out of place with so much going on in the city. Some kid getting lost doesn't exactly seem like front page news. I need more to go on, kid. Why are you so convinced he was taken? Didn't happen to anyone else around here. But it did happen to my best friend. Susie's been missing for 2 full days. Wait a minute. You just mentioned that he was missing since yesterday, so that's not 2 full days. Everyone's been looking, but no one can find him. What about his parents? Have they filed a police report? I'm the only one who really cares about Sosuke. I know he needs me. And no one else is even looking for him anymore, just me. He's lucky to have you. So when you saw crows circling above the building in one of the cases you investigated, you knew there was more to it than everyone else. Well, Mr. K, I know there's more to Sosuke's disappearance. I just need your help. Really did your homework, huh? I'm impressed. You're more dedicated than most adults I know. You remind me of my friend Erica. She lost someone too, and she'll never stop fighting for them either. Kay takes another glance at the alley. Alright, show me exactly where this Sosuke pal of yours disappeared. Ryota perks up. So you're gonna look into it? I'm here, ain't I? Let me check in with my team, see if they figured anything out. Could save us some time. Kay reaches for his phone. What's up? We're all here. I just need a quick word with one of you to follow up on what the kid has told me. You find anything else? I know you've been searching all over on your fancy computer. Some worrying details have started to emerge. The type of details that mean he is for sure involved. Social media is starting to fill up with posts about the appearance of a mysterious dark fog. It's been popping up in neighborhoods with similar data sets to the one Ryota called from. School absences are also on the rise. I can't confirm if these represent actual disappearances or just spook kids trading scary stories, but it's clear fear and paranoia are taking hold. Yeah, figured out that much. Oh, really? You carry a fear and paranoia detector now? Did Ed develop that when I wasn't paying attention? Years on the force are what gave me my fear detector. You can't beat experience. But I do appreciate your input, even if I already knew it all. Ryota, it's time to find Sosuke. Nothing looks out of place, but things are rarely what they seem. Kay slowly but deliberately reaches his hand out. He's not holding on to anything, but you would think that he is by the way he's moving, like he's got something invisible dangling from his fingertips. Ryota has no clue what he's trying to do, but he watches closely. However, what happens next can only be seen by Kay's eyes. As Kay opens his fingers, a sparkling orb of energy drops from his hand down onto the ground. It ripples like a water in a still pond, energy flowing outward into the world. Strange trail floats into view as though a spirit has passed through this place. Psychic energy. The trail leads further on, deeper into the alley and out of view. Guessing went that way. Puzzled, Ryota follows Kay's eyeline down the alley but sees nothing out of the ordinary. What happened? I don't see anything. Trust me, kid. It's good you can't see it. This is the power you don't want. You're too young for it to take a risk like that and change your life forever. The world's a scary place. It keeps getting worse. We're going to find your friend and get you back to your life. Kay and Rinko are in big trouble this time, running like rats desperate to stay alive with only a dingy old sofa between them. And monsters. Better find another exit. Rinko turns to Kay and sees him holding his head. He appears to be in great pain. Damn, it's happening again. Your body's reacting to the ether? As Kay looks at the room, his vision begins to break in half. He tries to focus, but rather than reform, everything continues to split apart even further. That is just trippy. Another hallucination. The world is breaking in two. That'd be crystallized ether, another form of matter. Sounds like your body has entered the final stages of affinity. Ah! From thin air like phantoms, these horrific visitors appear, surrounding Kay and Rinko. Damn, we're surrounded. Mr. K? Are you okay? Huh? Sorry, kid. My mind can be a little hard to control. You just kind of stood there for a little while. Sometimes my memories take me places. Hate to leave you alone again, but you need to wait here while I look for your pal. Sit tight, I won't be long. A report on Rinko's computer. Setup flashes on screen. Ed's monitoring software has a hold of something big. The results are clear. Spiritual residue, and is exactly at Kay's location.
Oi.
What is it now? We just received an alert. There's a massive surge of spiritual energy at your location. Hold off on pursuing until we're able to send support. Can't wait forever for you guys. We might have a missing child on our hands. We got plenty of evidence. I know what I'm getting myself into. Remember, fog reports are increasing. There's fear in the streets. Time to act. Of course I know these things. I'm the one who told you. I also know how dangerous it's getting out there. This time could be even worse than the last. What if he shows up?
Oi, oi.
I wish he would. Excited to see that mask snap in two when I put my fist through it. It's not fair to ask us for help when you think he needs us. You need us. Then use our own words against us when you're too impatient to act as a team. We're in this together. Kay decides to address one team member specifically to make his case. The hunger I have to solve this case is as good as any science experiment you could conduct to get to the bottom of it. How many times have my instincts been proven right, all by your high-tech gadgetry? That's not something I keep tally of. The purpose of my work isn't to prove you right. But it happens all the time. I'm out in the streets, pressing into darkness, trusting my instincts. I can't be waiting for you all to download a software update. I feel like you're trivializing my work quite a bit. Of course, I'm extremely thankful when I can assist you, but my primary goal as a scientist and a paranormal investigator is much greater than any individual day-to-day goals. And that's exactly my point. We all need to focus on what we do best, and what I do best is not wait around. We can all agree that you're no good at that. I must say, I quite admire your grip, and I do not envy the stress that a city like Tokyo must place on a detective who wants to do his job. However, I would remind you, in nature, a lone wolf typically isn't alone for long. They are alone only until they find a new pack or become prey themselves.
Hmm.
That may be factually correct, but sure as hell takes the coolness out of it.
Hmm.
I can't disagree with that. Just try and act cool in the most responsible way possible. Our pack is stronger with you in it. I'll talk to you later. I'm in the middle of investigating. He never was any good at following people's directions. That attitude of his is precisely what saved our hides on countless occasions. You don't think I realize that? Erica smiles thinking about Kay's attitude. It doesn't bother her. Damn, they're everywhere. Kay's eyes dart between the two horrific figures. It is some incredibly strange glowing crystals that hover nearby. As he tries to speak, Kay wheezes painfully.
Hmm.
Rinka, what would happen if someone tried to touch one of those ether crystals? Your guess is as good as mine. Might give you the power to fight back, might just make you even more miserable. Who could say? What about him? Did it grant him strength? Rinko nods silently. Getting his answer, Kay without hesitation stretches his hand out toward the crystals. Wait, stop. Stopping's not an option, not for any of us. You don't know what will happen. It could kill you. I don't think he much minds on that. And those things won't. We're dead if we don't try something. We aren't out of options yet. You've thrown away everything to fight those monsters, same as me. They're not a goddamn thing left to lose at this point. Before Rinko can say anything else, Kay reaches all the way out. Kay follows the trail of psychic energy. It does not cut between these like flashbacks and the actual story very well at all. Kay follows the trail of psychic energy deeper into the dark Shibuya alleyway, away from the glow of familiar streetlights and vending machines. His venture into the unseen brings him to a manhole cover where the spirit residue flashes with an eerie intensity. This spot is clearly the origin point for whatever spirits is at the center of this mystery.
Hmm.
Did they take you this way, Sosuke? Kay looks around again and finding nothing focuses his attention on this haunted manhole. The spectral vision shows Kay a lot more than he thought it might, revealing a glowing specter hovering in this dark and dreary place. The spirit of a man in his 30s. A Chibaku Rie, according to Japanese lore. This type of spirit is trapped in a physical location.
Eh?
Okay, Spectre, what's keeping you tied down there? The Spectre seems unable to answer him. Instead, he mutters as if distracted, or perhaps completely delirious. Either or, maybe both. Spectres aren't especially concerned with politeness or clarity. Neither of us is going anywhere until I get some answers. I need to know what are you doing here, specifically at this manhole cover. Why haunt this place? I thought it was just a kid playing around, just having fun alone. I wanted to make sure he was safe. So just being neighborly, eh? Yes, no, not making friend, protecting, but he wasn't. It wasn't.
Oi,
It
oi.
wasn't a kid though, was it? There was something else, something lurking in these shadows. Did I die? I think I died. But this isn't what I expected. What was it? Monster. A monster. The specter points downwards. Underneath, huh? Kay stares at the manhole as though if he just looks hard enough, he'll suddenly see what lurks in the darkness beneath its cover. He doesn't have to see the specter nod to know he's right. It went that way. Before he can pull up the manhole cover and see for himself, a long shadow creeps in from the edge of the alleyway. Did you find anything? Snooping around is a detective business. You don't belong back here. I thought I heard you talking to someone. Who is this youngster? Only I can hear you, so don't bother. Only you can hear me. Well, sure, nobody else is even here. This is turning into a damn clown show, kid. I need you to stay here while I go down. It's not safe for you there. Not safe. Not safe. Monster! But how do you know I'll be safe up here? My team's one call away. They'll get here quick if you're in danger. Weren't you just saying something about being in the middle of an investigation and too busy to talk to anyone? Funny you should mention that. I could actually use some help. I believe they call it client services. Who do you call them, mister? Are they nice like you, or nicer? Client services sounds more like babysitting to me. If only you would just wait for us to get there. We play the hand we're dealt, and juggling work and childcare has never been my strong suit. I need a little support. Rinko sighs a long, tired sigh of a frustrated person who does that in the end. Of course they'll help. She always helps him, just as he will always help her. And I have the perfect candidate in mind. You, Rinko, there's nobody I trust more. The way you've looked after Erica, you've got away with the young people. I just don't. Talk some sense into this kid. Make him give me the space I need to get the job done.
Okay.
Put him on. Ryoto holds Kay's phone to his ear, happy to make another new friend. Yes, Mrs. Ghost Hunter? No, Ryota, this is Rinko. I'm the one who first read your message about your friend Sosuke. We're going to find him. You just have to trust us and listen to us. We also need your help. Will you help us? We need a new deputy for our paranormal investigation force. A deputy? Like a real deputy? Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. You're now our official task force lookout. It's a tough job, and not just anyone can do it, but I believe in you. I'm setting an alert to your smartphone right now. Every 5 minutes, send me a message and tell me what you see, even if it's just normal stuff. I will do my best. But you need to stay right where you are. If you go anywhere, that wouldn't be a good task force lookout work. In that case, I'd be forced to promote you to a lower position. You have no idea the kind of paperwork that would create. You can count on me, Renko. Kay watches as Ryota smiles and hands the phone back to him. Then the kid puts on a tough W face and begins to survey the entrance to the alley.
Oh.
We good? He's on lookout duty. That should keep him busy for a while, but you better proceed with caution. We are on our way. You're the best. Tell me something I don't already know. Now to get down there and find your pal, Sosuke. Dirty water splashes under Kei's feet as he makes his way through the still darkness of Shibuya's sewers. The further he goes, the darker it gets. But not because of any change in light, no. This darkness is unnatural. In fact, it's not darkness at all. It's tangible. Dense fog made of spiritual energy fills the air. Toxic paranormal waste coats the ground and plugs the drains. But the air itself is rejecting him. This corruption flows between worlds and reaches around him, blocking Kei's way.
Hmm.
How long has it been building up right below our feet? Is it like this everywhere? As Kei goes deeper, the Kagare only increases. There's definitely something here. If there's this much corruption swirling around, nothing I can't handle. Alone in the darkness, Kei summons his power and... cleanses the corruption, returning the sewer to its normal state. That's better, minus the stink. With the Kagare now cleared, as if they were waiting for a moment of safety, someone appears.
Eh?
Sosuke, is that you? The small boy avoids Kei's look, turning his back and picking at something on the wet ground. Splish, splash, splish, splash. Hey, you kid, you okay? Can you hear me? Are you hiding from something? Take a bath, take a bath. Come on, kid, this isn't the time or the place. Answer me. I'm not trying to scare you, but you gotta work with me here. In the vast darkness of the sewer, the sound of Kei's phone suddenly rings out. The tiny chime echoing back and forth around the hollow space. The small boy in the raincoat doesn't seem to notice. He must be very preoccupied. I'm close. I found Sosuke, but I'm worried. He won't. Muffled sounds. Down so far, the signal to the case phone is barely holding on. He can only make out a few sounds and struggles to make out what words they might be forming. Muffled sounds.
Oi, oi.
Hello, is anybody there? Renko, is that you? Ed? Erica? Who is this? Renko, can you hear me? Are you with Ryota? Can you ask him, was Sosuke wearing a yellow raincoat? The scratchy connection makes it almost impossible to understand. Sosuke? It's about Sosuke. Not? I can't understand. Sosuke is not what? Not Sosuke. The call cuts out, the phone going dead in Kei's hand. Damn. No screwing around, Sosuke. Just like that, finally as if called by his mother to come to dinner, the child responds. He stands up and turns to Kei with his dead, evil eyes. You're not Sosuke, you're the monster. Kei raises his hand and calls forth an energy they discovered that day long ago. The day he found his back against the wall. Reaching out and touching the ether crystal. Ever heard of ethereal weaving, monster? Energy surges into Kei's hand. Green light winding, glowing, and charging around his fingertips. The increasingly bright light glows, illuminating the tunnel. And in that moment, standing in the center of the tunnel, we can see this monster, this raincoat visitor. Just in time for it to press a child's whistle to its mouth, and... at a stranger's fingertips lies Kei, now a prisoner. I need my subject to remain calm or else nothing will get done. Despite being captive, Kay flashes the stranger a fierce glare.
Kusso.
You son of a bitch. Hello, my new friend. I'm keen to see how useful your vessel turns out to be. The stranger takes something out and holds it in his hand, an amulet, though clearly not simply for decoration. It surges with power. He looks from the amulet and back to Kay and smiles. As the monstrous low raincoat visitor blows his whistle, he steps back into the shadowy darkness.
Oh.
Running away, huh? But he's not running well, in fact, he's only making space. For two much larger, far more horrifying visitors show up and challenge Kay. I've been waiting to run into you again. Let's go, you bastards. One umbrella visitor is injured. An umbrella visitor attacks. A barrier appears in front of Kay. An umbrella visitor attacks, but its attack is deflected by the barrier. The barrier is broken. One umbrella visitor is injured. Umbrella visitor attacks. Barrier appears in front of Kay. Barrier is broken. Well, shit. I didn't play that well. Let's just go the pure attack route. Nope. So that wasn't the right way. You're done. The fight now over, the sewers oddly calm again. Kay sweeps the space looking for any clues that may be left behind. Why would a pack of monsters manifest their evil here? But then he sees it affixed to one wall of the tunnel. A wooden tag, sometimes called a kafuda. This must be what summoned those things. Kay reaches out to take the kafuda down, but as his fingertips approach it, Rinko? God damn it, Rinko. Erica? Kay feels a big, quick thump through his body. Excuse me. When he looks looks down and he sees someone else's arm stabbing through his chest. It's horrifying. Black smoke rushes out of his body. Looking back up, Kay sees a man wearing a Hanya mask. You're... As Kay comes to realize, too, he realizes that he is in the tunnel once again. No, still, he looks at his chest. It's totally fine. No gaping hole, not even a scratch. Sweating, breathing heavy, his mind races. It was a horrible dream. Maybe a vision. He grips the kafuda in his hand. I won't let him get away with this. So hard that it smashes into pieces. At that moment, Kay realizes he's not actually alone. Distracted by his fury, he had missed the approach of someone new.
Eh?
Who's there? Surprised, he spins to face this entity. But before he can raise his other hand... Ah! Kay emerges from the tunnel to find Ryota waiting with the rest of the team. You fool. You run into Wolf Gagair and your instinct is walk deeper into it when you know we're on our way to help. Listen, No, you listen. I'm not done yelling at your stupid ass for making me worry about you. Okay, but all of our instruments at HQ started going wild. We broke basically every traffic law in Tokyo twice to get here as quick as possible. And then we find an open sewer entrance, little Ryota peering down into this dirty tunnel, clearly considering climbing down there despite our best efforts to cover for you and keep him busy. Sure, except... So, we take a look for ourselves. It's corruption all directions. The whole place is absolutely soaking in spirit residue. It's like they're amassing an army beneath our feet, and you go sniffing around alone? It's not... Maybe let her finish? Worst of all, you arrive singing but unscathed, having been gone just long enough to have me convinced that you really hurt down there, that I'd never see you alive again. The problem with disappearing into a dangerous sewer all alone is that the longer you're gone after Rinko has asked you to be cautious, the more time she has to consider all the things she'll shout at you when you return. I've actually never thought about that before. That is a very good point. The thing we've been through together, when you're in danger, it's as if I can feel it deep down, but there's nothing I can do. What if you had died? The thought of being haunted by you, of all people, I almost climbed down there to kill you myself. I'm sorry, I should have waited. Don't you dare be nice to me right now, I need to calm down. I value your friendship and support. I didn't hear that. Safely above ground, reunited with his team, Kay turns his attention to the original source of all this drama. His young client, Ryota. You were never going to tell me, were you? Sosuke isn't your best friend. He's your dog. He's my dog and my best friend. Kay sits back nervously as Sosuke tries to jump into his lap, tail wagging. Oh, calm down. He just wants to be pet. Jeez, who'd have thought that such a tough-as-nails former detective would have such a strong phobia around dogs? Don't have to broadcast it all right? Don't be scared. Sosuke loves everyone. Maybe he should draw the line at helping monsters and following them into the sewer. Ryota hugs his dog and gets a face full of licks in response. Kay relaxes slightly, seeing how harmless the slow dog is, but still keeps some distance. Thank you so much for bringing him home safely, Mr. K. Mr. K, what an adorable alias. When exactly did you start going by this new short nickname? I suppose it has a fun ring to it, not quite so formal as your full name, K. Before you get too sidetracked, as the lead investigator on this one, you've got some paperwork to do, Kay. Not sure what's worse, fighting monsters or filling all these damn forms. It's obvious that you prefer the fighting to paperwork. Kay scribbles out a few quick lines, only Ed can read them. Hey kid, this is for you. Oh, it's a prize for helping you find that ghost. Almost. It's the bill. Ryota's face sinks as he's left holding the check. Lucky for you, today's work is pro bono. That means free. Consider this your receipt. I'm feeling generous right now. Ryota looks closely at the paper in his hand and says, the case of the cursed manhole extermination complete. Leaning in over his shoulder, Rinko lets out an uncharacteristically loud burst of laughter. Oh, now I get it. You didn't choose the nickname K. Sloppy paperwork chose it for you. There's a lot in this life we don't get to choose. Call me what you like. Not like I've got any use for a real name these days, and definitely not one of my old names. Doesn't matter what anyone calls me, as long as I find that bastard. His gaze looks fierce as though he's recalling a bitter past. Reflected in his eyes is Ryota, who looks pleased to have received K's autograph. K's expression softens up in response. That said, I guess K's not so bad. Oh, well, I guess that's the end of that. Looks like 14's still down for maintenance. So I guess we'll go back to Destiny. I mean, we're still working on of Queens and Worms, so I guess we can work on doing finishing that up. Tomorrow will be Final Fantasy 14 or probably or maybe Destiny, depending upon what's going on in my clan tomorrow night when I get on. Um, I know Iron Banner is returning here. Um, and then the following night, we will be diving into Ghostwire Tokyo. God, my video for the Beast of Brewers Beacon just gets so many views. It's like ridiculous how many views it gets. For being a visual novel, this has some really long credits to it. Most of these people have probably only ever read an email about this entire thing in the workplace, and that was it. Okay. Well, since that's done,